Welcome to the Ascend Your Success podcast. Whether you're just starting out or are a veteran looking to grow your business, you're in the right place. Join us to learn how to achieve financial freedom while working and living life on your own terms. Hear valuable insights, strategies, and interviews with successful entrepreneurs. Get ready to achieve the success you've always dreamed of. Ready? Let's go.
What's going on, guys? My name is Wyatt, and this is the Ascend Your Success podcast. And today, I'm going to be talking about lead generation. What is lead generation? What is a lead in general? A lead is someone who's interested in selling you their property. They're somebody who's motivated by some way, shape, form, or fashion, whether they're going through a divorce, whether they can't make the payments anymore, whether somebody died and passed the property down to them. It's somebody who is in any way, shape, form, or fashion interested in selling their property, or at least getting an offer on their property. And when I say lead generation, it means how can I find these people? That's the number one thing that you need to be focused on if you're getting into real estate investing or even thinking about getting into real estate investing. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the LLC, the business cards, the logos, anything like that. You need to be focused, number one, first and foremost, on lead generation. And so with that in mind, let's talk about how do I even find leads? What are the best ways to find leads? And that really depends on your situation, your time frame, your budget. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Do you have a couple $100s to spend? Do you have a couple $1,000s to spend? And here's something that I want you to know right up front. If you have a couple $1,000 to spend, or if you have a couple $100 to spend, I would not just straight up spend money right up front, because if you don't know how to talk to a seller, or you don't even know what ARV is, then you're probably going to waste a lot of marketing dollars. So what I would suggest is, number one, you start off with free lead sources. What are free lead sources? Things such as wholesalers or agents, for sale by owners, Craigslist. Spend an hour a day and get on Facebook Marketplace, get on Craigslist. I've bought 2 houses in the past couple of years on Craigslist, which is crazy. But for sale by owners are on Zillow, they're on Facebook. Talk to local agents. If you make one Facebook post in one of these investor groups, you're going to have about 150 agents message you, DM you, and try to get your business, right? But what you want to do is you want to find agents who work with investors, who are going to send you what you actually want versus what they, just sending you everything, right? And so, and wholesalers, number one should be wholesalers. For me, when I first got started in real estate, I was living paycheck to paycheck, so I couldn't pay for marketing. And what I did was I went to these Facebook groups, I went to the search box, I typed in wholesaling real estate North Alabama, wholesaling real estate Huntsville, wholesaling real estate Tennessee, because I live right on the Tennessee-Alabama line, so I'm pretty close to either way. So I got in like all of these different real estate investor groups, and one nugget that I can give you that I didn't know back then is there's a search bar for these groups, and you can go in and you can just type in assignment, and it'll bring up all the leads that wholesalers have put out for assignment, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for those assignment deals. And listen, it's going to be like spending a crap ton of money on marketing and getting all these people that are telling you to F off, and they're going to be just as bad leads as some of those. But what you need to do is you need to go through all of them, run your numbers, and make offers on these properties, and call these people, talk to them, get the feel, get the understanding of how to talk to people, how to negotiate, how to get information from them about the property. Even if they have it listed on the post, go through and ask them, hey, how many beds, baths, square foot is this? What kind of work does it need? Does it need a lot of work, a little bit? Well, what does that look like? Just flooring, paint, light fixtures, or does it need to be fully gutted? Things like that. Just get comfortable. You don't have to get a deal. You don't need a deal right off the bat. You don't have to have. If I could give you one piece of advice, is you don't have to have a deal. Don't force a deal right up front, right? Get comfortable talking to people on the phone about leads, and you will not waste your money on marketing. I can promise you that. So get comfortable with these guys. Call up these wholesalers that have the deals. Once you get some information, we've got scripts and things that you can use. Just DM me or hit me up after this. Follow me on Facebook or wherever that you're listening to me, and just say, hey, send me your script. I'll send you a bundle of stuff. I'll send you our scripts, our calculators, and all that. Kind of like a starter pack. So if you want that starter pack, just hit me up somehow, some way on Facebook or TikTok or something like that, and I'll get it out to you. And that'll kind of help you get jump started in getting leads, getting conversations going, right? And then once you're comfortable, it should only take you a couple of weeks. If you're doing this consistently, that's another key, is doing it consistently. If you decide, hey, I'm going to sit down for an hour a day, you need to sit down every single day for an hour, except for Sundays, and call people and talk to them about leads. Go through these Facebook groups and find leads. Call these agents, find leads. Look on the MLS, find leads. Look on for sale by owners. There's like 100 for sale by owner websites that you can go to and scroll through. And you can even on the MLS, even on these for sale by owners, even on Craigslist, you can go in and create notifications that will send you notifications when prices change or things get sold or they don't get sold or whatever. So create the notifications so that you can keep track of that stuff, and get on Facebook Marketplace, and you can do the same on that as well. And then we got paid leads. Once you get comfortable talking to people, get into the paid leads. If you decide to join our coaching, like, you can get into the paid leads way quicker, because we have Tuesday night sales calls where we role play. We teach you how to pitch multiple offers. We teach you how to have a conversation with the seller instead of just listening to a script or reading off a script. But if you're not in the group, like, get comfortable with these free leads first, and so that you're not wasting your money on the paid leads. You can even go on YouTube and listen to people like Brent Daniels or Brent Daniels has a lot of the good sales calls and things like that. Just look up sales calls on YouTube for real estate, and you'll find hundreds of them. And just get comfortable, practice. But don't just get into the content and just be learning. Get on the phone. That's the hardest thing for people, is to get on the phone, right? So let's get into these paid leads, which are obviously my favorite. So paid leads. What's a paid lead? It's anything that you spend money to get leads calling you, right? So postcards. Everybody and their mom does postcards. That's because it's a tried and true method. It works, okay? People send out fake checks. People send out postcards. They send out letters. They send out, if you talk to REI Print Mail, which if you tell them that we sent you or use our link, you'll get 10% off your first campaign. But if you talk to them, they have over 100 different mailing pieces. And guess what? They do this across the nation. So they have data across the nation on what mail piece is working where, and what offers working best there, what color, what font, everything. They can do it all for you. It's all a done-for-you system. When I first got started and when I first started doing postcards, I sent out maybe 1,000 postcards, and I created them myself, and it was terrible. I created them myself. I'd done the messaging. I sent it out. I didn't get a single deal. But I got a lot of calls and I got a lot of FUs, and that actually stopped me from doing postcards for a while, probably another year before I decided to do postcards again. But I didn't do it properly. I didn't have someone telling me what I needed to do. When you work with someone like REI Print Mail, they do it all for you and they tell you what you need. Then you have texting and cold calling. So when you're first getting started, you can do it yourself and do it cheap, right? You can use Launch Control, or you can just pick up your phone and start cold calling, right? Or if you want to use an auto dialer, you can use an auto dialer to just automatically make phone calls for you. But for me, again, I like the done for you system. So I like other people doing it. I like other people taking the calls. I hate taking phone calls. I hate making phone calls. So that's why I love done for you systems. So for example, Lead Mining Pros. Nick Nicholas, he was on this podcast too. So if you can go back and watch the Nick Nicholas episode, but he's the owner of Lead Mining Pros, and they do texting and cold calling for you. And what happens is they take these leads, they vet them, and they send them to you. And now you're talking to people who actually want to sell their house, not just picking up the phone and calling someone and saying, hey, this is Wyatt from local home buyer, blah, 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 blah. Would you be interested in selling your house? And them telling you to F off, right? They're doing all that. They're taking all that front end off of your back, and they're doing it all for you, right? And then you've got things like cold call, or you have things like PPL, PPC. This is getting into the more expensive side of marketing where, we're seeing like anywhere from $35,000 to $4,000 per closed contract. So that's pretty expensive for marketing. That's anywhere from $250 to $300 a lead. PPC and PPL are pay per lead or pay per click. You have somebody else set it up and they're sending you leads as well. They're some of the hottest leads that you can get because people are actually filling out an application saying, I want to sell my house, right? So you need to hit these guys as quickly as possible. Usually they say within the first 60 seconds of them filling out that application and sending it in, you need to be on the phone calling them, right? And so what you'll notice is like people fill these out all times of the day, all times of the night. And so if you've got a good CRM, you can have it set up to where when they come in, it'll send them a text saying, hey, I got your application. We'll be reaching out to you soon, right? And that way you can hit that person as quickly as the application comes in. And then you got bandit signs. I think these are very overrated. You can just go to like dirtcheapsigns.com and buy 50 to 100 to however many and start setting them out. But there are laws against bandit signs. That's why they're called bandit signs. And what you need to do is you need to definitely look up all the laws and stuff. Like some places that you have to put them out like Friday night and pick them up Sunday. You can't stick them in certain places. Like the city limits of some cities, you can't stick bandit signs unless you own the property. So just be careful with those and look up the laws. Be careful with all of these and look up the laws for all of them because there are laws that are in place for, you like specifically like Georgia, for example, for the postcards. You have to put a big like statement on your postcards, or you're supposed to anyways, saying that, this is for me to, I don't remember exactly what it's supposed to say, but it pretty much says that I'm just trying to get you an offer on your house, right? So it's like solicitation or something like this is just solicitation or something like that. It's crazy, but the laws are changing always. You should always be up to date on your local real estate laws for marketing. Texting is getting more and more and more regulated. It's harder day by day. That's why I want somebody else doing it. I don't want to deal with it. When I was texting full force and I was doing it myself, I was shut down. When I get shut down, I'd be shut down for a week and our pipeline would dry up and I'd be on tech support. Like, I'd be over here talking to my VA saying, hey, call tech support, get the campaign back up and running. And it'd be a week before we were back up and running. So we would just eat, we'd see our profit go out the door, right? And then it would take forever to get our pipeline filled back up. Those are just some of the paid ways, some of the free ways. Those are what I recommend for the most part. The thing is about lead generation is you've got to be consistent with it. If you say, hey, I'm going to send out a postcard campaign, you need to sit down and go through your budget and say, okay, well, here's my monthly income, here's my monthly expenses. I can afford to put this much into marketing every month for the next 6 months and not stop. I cannot stress this enough. It's got to be consistent because I see this all the time. People will drop a postcard campaign in, let's say, Athens, Alabama, and then they won't get anything the first month. Then they'll move it to Decatur, Alabama. They won't get anything. Then they'll move it to Huntsville, Alabama. Then they won't get anything. You know why? Because they're not consistent, and these people quit so often. It's crazy. You've got to be consistent. You got to hit the same spot and don't spread it out too thin too. I see that all the time too, is if you're only doing like 1,000 postcards, think of this, like let's just say you're hitting this city that's like 20,000 population. You're only sending 1,000 postcards. That's very, very, very thin. And I see some people send 1,000 postcards out to a couple of different cities. That is spreading your marketing way too thin. You need to start in one location, and if your city's too big, then start in a single zip code and hit that zip code until you can expand, right? Make sure you are going local and very small, right? Once you get your deal, do it consistently. Once you get your first deal, up your marketing and do more, right? Once you start getting leads, then you can start tracking KPIs, and we'll talk about that on another episode. But once you start getting deals, tracking KPIs, that's how you get that consistency. So many people lack consistency in their business because they just don't do it. They don't do the hard, really it's easy. I was going to say the hard things, but it's easy. Just do the marketing consistently every single month, and you're going to get a lead. Don't tweak the marketing unless you're tweaking it to do more because you got a deal. Don't ever move it or tweak it down until you've got at least 3 months worth of data to make an educated decision on that, right? I always say 6 months, but don't, at a minimum, 3 months worth of marketing to make a decision on whether you need to move it or not. So that's what I have to say about lead generation. It's the most important thing that you should focus on as a new real estate investor. And so I just want to thank you guys so much for listening to the Ascend Your Success podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who'd love it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. For more resources, visit ascendyoursuccess.com. Check us out on social media. And remember, success isn't a destination. It's the journey. I'll see you next time.